Okay, we're going to call this one 9 checks to paradise. This had a 9-check sequence that led to checkmate after a bunch of exchanges. So here we go. Now I'm playing black here, and I think this is the Dutch defense, but I could be wrong. And I do this little maneuver with the knight to sort of centralize it. It tends to throw people off in 3-minute games. Doesn't always work. So this game's already characterized by this advance on the king side, where my opponent sort of tucked his king away to safety, and I sort of advanced up, just kind of looking for something here. So interestingly here, I centralized the knight, and I was sure it was going to be bishop takes bishop, and I was delighted when my opponent didn't take. So then I rationalized that I'm going to lose a piece. I might as well threaten another piece. So if my opponent takes the bishop, I'll grab the rook. If my opponent takes the knight, I'll just move my bishop back to safety, and I snatched another pawn. So that's what happened. So here my opponent makes a sacrifice, and I see the idea. The idea is the queen is occupying this diagonal, and perhaps my opponent can make things happen. But I think it was premature and not quite sound. So I take it, and I know I have some open king issues, but my pieces seem to coordinate pretty good to defend. Now, I got a bit worried when I saw my opponent do the X-ray with the rook. So I moved the king out of the way, at least from any discovered check shenanigans. So now that my opponent let me do that, I'm running because I want to gain control over the H file, where my opponent has his king, and I think that can lead to some good things for me. So my opponent does this this move here with the C2, C4, and I realize it's now time to attack the queen and try to dominate the H file. So my opponent does this forced check, which I think is a pretty good move, even though it loses another piece. So bam. And when my opponent does that, I take back, and I like that I can centralize my knight, and I'm very pleased. I'm only up in material, I think the equivalent of 2 pawns, because my opponent has extra pawns for the bishop, but 2 bishops, well, maybe I'm actually up a little more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. So I'm actually up pretty good. My king's open, but I've got the 2 bishops. So my opponent is trying to, I guess, have me make a mistake in the center. So takes. Surprised they're willing to exchange when they're down material. And then I take back, realizing that now my bishop is opened up in the diagonal in front of my opponent's king. So opponent takes back, and then this starts a little bit of the sequence. So we have 1 check, 2 checks, 3 checks, 4 checks. Okay, let's grab the rook. 1 check, 2 checks, 3 checks, 4 checks, 5 checks, and that's all the checks that we need. So a total of 9 checks in those 2 sequences. Makes for good video television. Okay. Decent play by my friend from Brazil, but this one was mine.